Okay, again, when we talk about spirituality, is under Tayyiban aspect. Halal is all related to the Sharia law, the divine command pertaining to food, which is permissible or prohibited for Muslim to consume. And of course, the food safety is in general, Muslim, non-Muslim alike. We're really concerned about food safety, hygiene, cleanliness, wholesome and nutritious. Now let's go straight. We'll finish this in a few minutes. Talking about the HCCP, they identify the halal compliance critical control point. There is now introduction, definition, objective, and the process flow, food services process flow, and manufacturing process flow. So let's go to the introduction. Yeah, halal compliance, the HCCP is a system that implemented, or we call it HCP, halal control point. It's a system implement the HAS, has halal assurance system, along the halal supply chain. This system isolate point along the process from procurement to raw material to the distribution network of the product. So the HCP applies controls at this point to ensure that the halal integrity remains uncompromised. Yeah, I will show you later on some example. So the halal assurance system adhere to a concept of zero tolerance towards limits, defect, and risk. This is the objective of this halal control point, the HCCP. This requires the prevention of entering non-halal material, the haram materials, into production from beginning of the process. There is the procurement of the material. The HCP system therefore identifies the critical control points. The objective is to identify the critical control point and establish the monitoring and, if necessary, corrective procedure, corrective action within the supply chain. This is almost the same as hazard, hazard analysis critical control point. Need to identify the control point, the critical control point, establish the monitoring and so on. Corrective action. This is one example, the process flow, food services process flow. First, menu engineering. When you start to create a menu, you need to pay attention to the control point. For halal, of course, the control point is to menu engineering, to create a menu, a new menu. The ingredient, the raw material, make sure must be halal. That's the CCP one for halal. For food safety and so on also same. To make sure that the raw material is good, not spoiled and so on. And then the ingredient also same, identified. Once you have the CCP, then only you can identify the ingredient, the raw material and ingredient. Once go through this procurement, the supplier selection, know what will happen? They will go through receiving and then preparation. Under the procurement, supply selection is still under control point number 2. The halal control point number 2. Okay. Now, upon receiving the raw material, you have to check if halal raw material, the chicken, beef, lamb, mutton, you need to check the certificate, the halal, document or what, or letter of guarantee. Once you have that clear, then go through storage. That's under critical control point 4. Why? Because you need to make sure if dry store need to meet the temperature, the correct temperature, the room temperature. If chiller need to meet between 0 to 5 degrees Celsius. If freezer, you need to store into a freezer minus 18 degrees Celsius. You see? If go through and pass. Okay, then only go to this preparation. It will be under halal control number 5. Because preparation, you have to make sure the limit, the guidelines in terms of adding flavor, additives and so on. Proper preparation, process and cooking and so on. See, receiving is HCP 3, 5. Once clear, then only you can distribute, display, keep in the holding room before delivery to the customer. That's halal control number 6. This is the, hope you understand this process flow of the halal control point. From creating a menu engineering, you have to have that control point. Make sure the ingredient, the product, the raw material must be halal, suitable, safe, not poisonous or hazardous to health. Then only go to the selection and procurement, and then go through this production. And then this food manufacturing. For this process flow, same. Product development, there's now menu engineering, now product development, still under number 1, critical control point number 1. And then if you needed be to send for laboratory analysis, okay. If for halal, let's say you prepare in house soya sauce, okay. Let's say you don't add any wine, because sometimes you want to purchase soya sauce or what contain wine. If no wine, is halal. Okay, if halal certified, also is considered halal, acceptable. But you want to prepare in house, and then you want to sell, you want to export or distribute to the public. So you can send to the lab testing analysis to get a letter of guarantee saying that does not contain any traces of alcohol or animal which are not halal. You can have a letter of guarantee that. That's why the laboratory analysis play the role. Soba sauce in Japanese menu, we do have that. A company in Japan supply, but they don't have halal certificate, but they provide us with letter of guarantee. It been tested, no trace of wine or alcohol in the product. Okay, now come back to procurement. Same thing, like what we talked earlier under the food process flow. This food manufacturing factory and so on, they have to go through all the same thing, okay, until HCP number 7, distribution. These are just to add you can see the ingredient, the recipes, and so on, what have been used. You can, for the product which are ready to eat meal, they have the ingredient display on the packaging, or you can read that. This is menu engineering, menu development, the recipes, selection of raw materials should be sourced from halal supplier, okay, and to check if critical item from the exporting country has been accredited by the Islamic authority or not, okay. To check if imported items are transported, shipped in the halal and hygienic manner. Talking about logistic. Receiving area, personal hygiene of food handler should be considered before handling material. Before and after using equipment and utensil, it must be sanitized, clean, rinse with water, pure water, clean water. Storage, storage of frozen item. These are all under the critical control point. Should be at -18 freezer. Storage and chill item between 1 to 5 or 0 to 5. The ideal temperature is 4 degrees Celsius. Food item must not be placed on the floor or rack. Remember that. Direct contact food item on the floor. Okay. In rack with proper ventilation should be used. If you do audit, walkabout, you see a fruit basket or food, the bread, bakery item, pastry, they put in the basket and put on the floor. They need to put on the pallet, They need to have that. Cannot put direct on the floor. Labeling of date, we talk about first in, first out, FIFO system. Necessary to implement. For non-halal kitchen, segregation is a must. Segregation is mandatory. Proper signage, color coding, identifier, labeling is required to control contamination. The halal control form 5, HCP 5. Okay, I have a question. Okay, sir, regarding the critical limit for halal, how do we establish a critical limit for the halal control point? Okay. And the hazard is just answerable by yes or no. It's line with the food safety limit. It's been established already. We don't create a new temperature or limit of the critical limit. No, it's in line with the hazard. The halal control point in line with food safety guideline. Talking about the temperature control, the HCP 1, 2, 3, 4, until 7, is in line with the HCCP, CCP. Okay? I hope you got it. make sure equipment use must be clean and dry. Food handler must maintain personal hygiene, use of proper disposable glove and all these protective gears. Make sure proper use while setting, transferring, or positioning of food into dishes. If you are preparing cold food, ready to eat meal, sandwich, for example, croissant, you do the, let's say kebab, you have to put butter, cheese or mayonnaise and add chicken. Make sure you wear glove. You see, like in the picture, you don't hold direct. He don't hold direct. He's using some to do decoration. He's just pushing this. Once cooked, you cannot touch directly. You need to have a media, spoon or whatever, chopstick. Cannot go direct with your hand. You see, they're wearing glove. But if you are preparing bread, bakery section, the dough, the bread, the flour, you want to prepare before cook. Of course, the pancake, you can hold the flour, the dough with your hand, bare hand, nothing wrong. No need to wear glove. But when you bake it, you put in the oven, you cook it, then you cannot hold with direct contact with your hand anymore. You want to hold, also need to do packing. You need to have a media or you need to wear a glove. Glad wrap after positioning of food, yes. Labeling of production date and time is necessary, Distribution, proper display. Food handler must maintain personal hygiene. Sorry, the last one slide. Maintain personal hygiene and use disposable glove and hairnet while setting, transfer, positioning of food into the dishes. And then setting must be done within 45 minutes. This is good timing. And store into the chiller when setting process is over. Store food temperature should be not above 12 degrees Celsius. Dishes must be covered with clean aluminum foil or glad wrap after positioning of food. Hope all these guidelines under the color control point 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There is guideline in line with the HCCP and also the Halal HCCP. Okay. Now, thank you very much. Now let's see. I don't see any question. If you have any, you can ask. To clarify, are all critical control point in the HCCP also considered as HCCP, which also include halal? Yes. Under the halal control point also can be considered under the hazard control point, the HCCP. Okay, good. Is there any question? Thank you, sir. But it must be zero tolerance for haram raw material. Of course, when halal is concerned, haram material is a no-no. We don't tolerate on haram raw materials. You're talking about the hazard, that's understood, common sense. Under the the hazard analysis, HCCP, even pork product, you want to prepare pork meal, non-halal meal, they have to follow the CCP. That's another story about the hazard. But on halal, no non-haram. It's not applicable in halal control point. Okay? The control point, the non-halal item must be properly physically separated to avoid any mistake and cross-contamination. That's the ruling, the golden rule. For the new participant, just to give you, to motivate you, stay safe, be calm, and the best is yet to come. Thank you very much. All right? See you tomorrow. Okay. Bye.